What are the spookiest audio or video clips on the internet? Operation Wandering Soul. The US government was coming up with new ways of luring the Viet Cong out of the jungles during the Vietnam War. They came up with this disturbing and creepy audio recording of what sounds like spirits of the undead calling out to the Viet Cong. The US military would play this audio at night to try to bring out the Viet Cong from their hiding spots and demoralize them. Just imagine being in the middle of a jungle late at night and hearing that on full blast, not knowing where it's coming from or what it is. I studied this for a project years ago, as well as the Chiu Hoi program. We had to teach middle school kids about our project, and it's safe to say some are probably still scarred. One of the professors walking around happened to stop by our booth, and by the time he heard our speech and listened to the recording, he looked like he'd seen a ghost. And if you think it's bad, have it translated. It plays on their religious beliefs and makes everything so much worse. I find the WW1 battle sounds to be scary. It's just extremely loud sounds of firearms going off and artillery crashing down, but you can't make out one single shot. They're all clumped together in what sounds like hell. To think soldiers would endure this during a battle for hours, days, even weeks at a time makes me feel for the poor soldiers. Edit. Since this is blowing up, I recommend increasing the volume of the video up to the max and listen with your eyes closed for the full immersion. I'd also recommend this video that visualizes the brutality of the war and the effects, shell shock and injuries, it gave on the men, with a mixture of real footage from WW1 and recreational films based on the war. We are 9 in a hole. Nothing will get us out of here. But we have eaten, we must relieve ourselves. The first of us to feel the urge climbs out. He has been there for 2 days now, 10 feet away, killed, with his trousers down. We crap on paper and throw it up and out. When we have no more paper, we go in our haversacks. The Battle of Verdun continues. We go in our hands. Dysentery flows between our fingers. We crap blood. We go where we lie. We are devoured by flames of thirst. We drink our own urine. If we remain on this battlefield, it is because they won't let us get away. Jean Genot. The soldier boy was sitting calmly underneath that tree. As I approached it, I could see him beckoning to me. The battle had been long and hard and lasted through the night. And scores of figures on the ground lay still by morning's light. I wonder if you'd help me, sir, he smiled as best he could. A sip of water on this morn would surely do me good. We fought all day and fought all night with scarcely any rest. A sip of water, for I have a small pain in my chest. As I looked at him, I could see the large stain on his shirt. All reddish brown from his warm blood mixed in with Asian dirt. Not much, said he. I count myself more lucky than the rest. They're all gone while I just have a small pain in my chest. Must be fatigue, he weakly smiled. I must be getting old. I see the sun is shining bright and yet I'm feeling cold. We climbed the hill, 200 strong, but as we cleared the crest, the night exploded and I felt this small pain in my chest. I looked around to get some aid, the only things I found were big, deep craters in the earth, bodies on the ground. I kept on firing at them, sir. I tried to do my best, but finally sat down with this small pain in my chest. I'm grateful, sir, he whispered, as I handed my canteen, and smiled a smile that was, I think, the brightest that I've seen. Seems silly that a man my size, so full of vim and zest, could find himself defeated by a small pain in his chest. What would my wife be thinking of her man so strong and grown, if she could see me sitting here, too weak to stand alone? Could my mother have imagined, as she held me to her breast, that I'd be sitting here one day with this pain in my chest? Can it be getting dark so soon? He winced up at the sun. It's growing dim and I thought that the day had just begun. I think, before I travel on, I'll get a little rest. And, quietly, the boy died from that small pain in his chest. I don't recall what happened then. I think I must have cried. I put my arms around him and I pulled him to my side. And, as I held him to me, I could feel our wounds were pressed. The large one in my heart against the small one in his chest. Michael Mack. BG, Vietnam War. WW1 was horrifying. Even worse when you realize most of the people who went crazy because of it were executed due to lack of understanding of PTSD/shell shock at the time. The PTSD from WWI was a little more than your standard PTSD. The term shell shock wasn't just that these men were broken in the mental sense. They were subjected to the sustained concussive forces of the artillery that it gave them actual physical brain damage. Always thought that the PTSD they had was different from normal. There is a difference between a modern war or a car crash and the hellscape that was WW1. Combined with the artillery, they almost certainly had brain damage to some extent. Mordor was based of the battles that J.R. Tolkien, forgot who made Lord of the Rings, fought in. Frodo's wound from the Morgul blade was a big allegory for the trauma that never left soldiers who came home, making them feel like strangers in their own rooms. Some come back bigger and stronger like Merry and Pippin. Others like Samwise come back with the bravery and confidence to do great things. Others return but feel restless knowing the world beyond their small borders like Bilbo. Others just can't return to the life they had, if they ever return at all.